Hey, Delaware. Welcome back to another episode of That Delaware podcast. And today we have some fabulous ladies with us from Kimmel Carter. Said that right? Kimmel Carter here in Delaware. They're a law firm doing personal injury. And they also have an amazing Instagram page. Are you guys just on Instagram or you do TikTok?
We are on TikTok and we also are on Facebook.
And Facebook. Okay.
And you'll
And
find
LinkedIn, right? Are we on
Yeah, we're all on LinkedIn.
Okay.
But we have a Kimmel Carter page, but then we have our special She
Squire. Yeah. So definitely go and follow them on the She Squire page. We were attracted to you guys because we're like, who are these women attorneys doing all this cool stuff on social media? Like, immediately loved it. So if you want to go around and introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you guys.
Em, you want to start?
Okay, I'm Emily Racis, born and raised in Delaware. Been with Kimmel Carter first as a law clerk and then upon passing the bar. So I've been there since actually May 14th of 2012. And then I refused to leave, so they had all
And you have 3 kids.
3 kids.
Are you guys all moms?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Did I sound
chaotic.
excited when I said that?
It's nice to be like it's nice to have like someone that's relatable.
Yes. Oh yeah, and our other attorneys are very understanding of us being the moms and like the extra responsibility that comes with the moms. But it can be crazy. It's a lot to balance.
For sure.
Yeah.
Linda Malkin, similar story. I started February 2010 as supposed to be a temporary job before law school, and I didn't leave. I started working as the managing partner's legal assistant, and then they kept me on. I went to law school at night and stayed there full time. Said I wasn't going to stay there, and then I left for 6 months. Ran into him at the courthouse. Maybe that was planned. And said, "Can I come back?" I worked part time while I had my kids, and then came back as an associate. So even though I left for that 6 months, I say that I've been there since 2010.
That's impressive.
So I have 2 kids, and
That's impressive doing school at night to get your law degree
and
kids working like
yeah, wow. I remember when I was in college, I did a club. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it was my degree was crime law and justice. I wasn't sure. I wanted to be like an FBI detective, and I knew I liked the field. And I remember someone coming in, and he was a lawyer, and he said he did law school at night, and he worked full time. He wouldn't recommend it to anyone. And I remember thinking, like, I was so competitive. I'm like, I could totally do that. And I remember to this day, like, I would never recommend it to anyone. But I also had different energy back then. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
It worked out. Though.
It worked out.
and
Yeah.
you're like challenging stuff.
Yeah,
Did you do nights?
Yeah, but I just worked. I did school part time and then worked part time.
So law school, you have the option. You could do a day program or a night program.
Okay.
So just some background because there's 2 different ways to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go part time, it's a 4-year program typically. Right. Otherwise, it's typically 3 days if you're going full time.
3 years.
3 years, 3 days. Could you imagine?
3 days done.
Yep.
I'm Jen Donnelly. I'm another attorney at Kimmel Carter. I'm from Delaware, born and raised in Claymont. Concord High School, University of Delaware. I'm as Delaware as you can get until I moved to Pennsylvania.
Oh, traitor.
I know. Well, I'll blame it on my husband, but he had more cars that we would have had to re-register if I moved. So, and I actually did defense work before I came to Kimmel Carter. I worked at 2 different defense firms. And I remember my last jury trial when I worked for a defense firm, I had a client that really could have cared less what happened. And I was like, this is not what I want to do.
Wow.
Not cared less, but it was just more of like checking boxes. And I was like, I really want to do work with people who it, matters a lot to them. And so I made the switch we do all plaintiffs work at Kimmel Carter. So we represent people who are hurt in car accidents or people who are hurt on the jobs versus the other side, which is like the insurance companies or the, corporations or whatever. Okay. So I came over in 2018. Actually, I was pregnant with my first child when I made the move, which full disclosure, when I had the conversation with our managing partner, I was like, I'm 4 months pregnant. Like, do you really want to hire me right now? And he was like, yeah, totally. It's fine. And then I actually had a preemie, which is a whole nother long story. And they've just been fantastic to me, but I really like it a lot more than doing defense work. And I've planned, like I said, Emily said, I plan to stay as long as they'll have me. So they kicked me out.
Hi, I'm Amanda Dovies, so I'm probably the newest female attorney at Kimmel Carter. I've been practicing now a decade, and I started out like Jen doing defense work. So yeah, I love the firm. I love the culture, and kind of similar stories to Jen. When Larry called and said, we're interested in hiring you, I said to him, well, I need to let you know that, I have a disabled son, medically complex, and he's got a lot of appointments, and I need to be able to juggle that. And he's like, oh my gosh, no problem at all. Like, totally fine. And it's been great. Excellent work-life balance. A firm that really cares about their people and their clients. So I echo similar sentiments in that they'll have to kick me out before I leave. I'm going to hang on to their legs. Don't let me go. Don't let me go. But yeah, it's definitely a wonderful place to practice law.
And you
for
see
sure.
the funny Instagram that we've done. So they give us pretty free reign.
Yeah.
to
Right.
work creatively, which is fun. So.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yes.
Like that is amazing. Like I was not expecting to hear that. Not that I was expecting to hear anything bad, but the fact that you guys love being there, and there's a lot of men that work there.
Yeah.
And that they're so supportive, like that the conversations you were having, and they're like, absolutely, like it's fine. Like that's really amazing.
I feel like in the legal field, it really matters who you talk to, if they're like big law or if they're. So our firm is purely a Delaware firm, and it was started as like a family firm almost. And I think that makes a lot of difference on what happens when you're a lawyer at a law firm, because some of these firms have hundreds of lawyers working at them, and they're overseen by people in different cities and stuff. That's not how we are, which I think makes all the difference at the end of the day.
So it sounds like it almost feels like a Delaware small business.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think Larry, who our managing partner, I think that he targeted a certain type of attorney to work at our firm. So he had this vision of a certain environment. So he wants this type. So I think that he really targeted like attorneys from blue collar families. Like my husband's an auto body technician, right? So doesn't know anything about the legal world. And he's met every single attorney at my office. And there's 12 of us now. And he's like, you can't tell that they're lawyers. Like they're so relatable and down to earth and just so fun to be around. So I think that, we have to give him huge kudos for bringing us all together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's funny. One day I was at my in-laws' house and my husband was there. We were dropping the kids off and his two sisters were there. One was moving out to California, and my husband and my other sister-in-law both work for the state, so they had the day off. And everyone was like, "Oh, sorry, you have to go to work." And Will was like, "Don't be. She loves going to work." Like I enjoy going into the office every day. Like we have such a good relationship. We've got good staff. Like it's just a good place to be.
Yeah.
It makes such a difference when you like the people that you work with.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I know. Look, all day's not wine. Every day's not wine and roses. Like there are some days that I dread, like what I have on my calendar and have to do.
yeah.
But it makes it better that I can rant to the girl in the office next to me about how terrible today's going to be.
Right.
It makes that side of things a lot.
100%. Like this is so relatable because we do the same thing here. It's like we absolutely love what we do. We love the people that we work with. But some days, depending on what's going on, it can be, excuse my French, a shit show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, what? And then it depends on who's on the other side that you're dealing with.
Yep.
And, all of those contributing factors. But what makes the difference is like who you're working with and being able to like talk it out and like vent and be like, all right, now we can move on.
Yeah.
I'm done. I let it out. And now we move on.
Yeah, for sure.
The practice of law, I don't think generally is easy, but particularly when you're working with like victims who are in pain and they're really at like the worst point of their lives. So a lot of times we get the fallout from that. Even though it's like an opposing counsel problem, they're not responding to us. Our clients expect us to be able to move their case. So it's so easy if we're having a frustrating day, like I'll call Emily and say, this is what happened, and we just talk it out real quick and we just feel so much better, right? So like built-in therapists, right, for each other.
I was saying, realtors probably have the same
Right.
thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, it's your fault that the house isn't selling, right? Or
Right.
whatever.
Or that
but-
when the contract falls through or whatever.
Or the other side, you can't control who the other agent is, how they've been trained. People don't understand, like, when you're a realtor, you're an independent contractor, you run your business a certain way, nobody pays you, you're not an employee. And so we call it like the wild, wild west out here.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, we don't know who we're dealing with on the other side. And sometimes we have to educate the agent to educate their client and, explain to our clients that, unfortunately, this is the way the other side's going, and I don't have control over that.
Right.
Yeah. So relatable.
Yeah.
And we frequently vent to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or you'll get somebody, I don't know if this is how it is in your line of work, but does it matter what state you're in too? Like, so for us, we might have an adjuster, it might be a car accident case, and the adjuster's in Texas, and they're telling you things, and you're like, that's not how it works in Delaware. And then, they have to go to somebody to figure it out, and it's just like, okay, this is going to be another month before we figure this out. And it should just be faster than that, but the process is what it is when you're dealing with people.
Yeah, real estate is state by state. So if you have an agent who is predominantly in Pennsylvania and they're trying to do something in Delaware, that does not mean that they operate the same way. And honestly, there's too many agents that don't read the contracts and they don't know what they're actually advising their clients on. So
That's
it's a pet peeve of mine.
So like new agents, you have to kind of teach them or show them the ropes, so to speak.
even older agents. Listen, and I'm not.
Sometimes they're the worst offenders, right?
I've been in real estate.
25
Yep,
years.
exactly. And it's like your mindset is back there, and like things change and evolved, and if you're the person in the room knows everything, that's a shame, because like none of us do.
So you've been doing it wrong for 20 years?
Right.
I saw this meme the other day, and it was like older attorneys saying to a younger person, well, I've been doing this for 25 years. And the person says back, well, then why are you so bad at it?
Yes.
Yeah, like we've even had brokers, right? So like they're the broker, right? They're kind of like
They oversee
yeah.
where we hold our license.
Yeah, and you go to them with the problems and for advice sometimes, right? Sometimes. And I'm working with a broker on the other side, and I had to educate him, and he's been in the business forever. And I'm like, no, actually, this is the way we need to do it. Right. So, and it's like, you don't want to be arrogant or,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to be respectful, absolutely. But it's hard to navigate that conversation when you have somebody that has sort of a chip on their shoulder, or they say, oh, I'm a broker. And it's like, well, kindly, this is how we need to do it.
Do you know what's funny? Like, kind of bearing on that, I think we would all agree, maybe I'm wrong, but the world of emails, there's like tone read into everything. And so we always go back, and I think this comes a lot from like the attorneys that have been doing it a while. They're like, pick up the phone and just talk to them, because so much gets lost in like, you're reading something into that email that's not there. And sometimes I'll get an email and I'll be like, that was rude. And then I'm like, wait, maybe we're like saying two different things or whatever. And you have to pick up the phone and it'll be like, oh, okay. I just had this happen. I was supposed to have a hearing like a month or two ago. And the attorney and I were like going at it in an email, and I'm like, I like this guy. This guy likes me. Like, why are we doing this? And I just called him, and he was like, oh, no, I thought you meant X, Y, and Z. And I was like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, then we're good. And I'm like, all right, why did we have that email war for a week, before I picked up the phone? So to your point about like communication, I guess that kind of all boils down to like talking to your clients and talking to the other side, and
100%
being transparent about stuff.
And we talk about that in real estate. If more agents picked up the phone and just had a conversation, we could avoid a lot.
Yeah. Of back and forth, right?
Yeah, because tone is everything.
Yeah, even our clients, the world of AI, I get so many emails, and I'm like, you did not write that. I've talked to you before.
Yeah.
I talked to you.
Yes.
And I'm like, I call them and I'll be like, yo, so-and-so. I'm like, what are you getting at? And then they're level with you on things, but you can tell, and it's great. The resources are great, but you can, the human side of it is so much better if you like, get back to it.
Yeah.
So.
We get that more and more now. Like, ChatGPT told me this.
Yeah.
I'm like, well.
That's a whole new
Did
topic.
ChatGPT go to law school? I mean, maybe.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, but in the whole, Delaware podcast, we have this saying in Delaware, we pride ourselves being in Delaware attorneys, the Delaware way. Yeah. It really is a very because it's a small bar. I mean, small state. It is very collegiate bar where we work together because you're dealing with the same people. I mean, it sounds like we were before we met today. We were talking about how you guys, it's a very saturated market for the realtors. You don't always know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
We are dealing with the same people all the time. So while it's not always we're dealing with that, we are fortunate to work in a practice where we are.
It's very respectable.
Yeah.
Right.
on both sides,
Right.
usually,
So
yeah.
shout out to our other side of the V, as we say.
Yeah. Yeah. And while there are so many realtors in Delaware, you do business with a lot of the same people, right? Or like we'll see them at networking events, or maybe, we'll put an offer in on their listing, and it's like, why be disrespectful? Why not be kind? Because we're going to have to interact with each other.
Again.
There's a good chance that that's going to happen. So,
Yeah.
Speaking of, I think when it comes to law, there's so many like TV shows, and you get this impression of how your lawyer's supposed to be. And I really have to tell my clients, like, we say this to each other all the time, Emily, like, you get more flies with honey than with vinegar. So they're like, well, I want you to be aggressive and I want you to be a pit bull. And I promise you, I'm going to get a better result if they like me. Like, when something's coming out of Amanda's mouth, I know that what she's saying is true and honest because I respect her and I have a relationship with her. So I know when she says she can't take anything less than this number, I know that that's the truth. So it's just so much easier to practice when you have that strong relationship versus what you see on TV with like the guy objection and all. Yeah, that's not really how it is.
such a good
Yeah.
point.
Real estate's the same with all of the HGTV shows that are
Oh,
out there.
yeah.
Like, that's not how this works.
The expectation
Yes.
is so high,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And when it comes to negotiations, like this is, look,
Yeah.
we're like this is like,
It is very similar.
yeah. It's you're going to catch more flies with honey.
Yeah.
And it like there's like a middle ground. It's like you have to know, like, okay, I'm gonna be kind, but also like serious and professional, and
Right.
stern.
Right.
Like
Hold your ground.
here's where we're at, right? And then same exact thing you guys were saying, when you're respected in the business, it really sets the tone for the transaction. Like, if it's an agent that knows me, they know my character, they know how I operate. Like, I'm not, here to have a chip on my shoulder or like get what's absolutely 100% best for my client. Like, we want to always like make sure everybody walks away happy.
Right.
And so God, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
Especially, you never know when you're going to need a favor from somebody else. We need like an extra extension and you've burned that bridge. Good luck.
Yeah.
And so we are all litigators. So not all of our cases, but when we handle a case, if we take a case in, it's with the expectation that it could end up in a lawsuit. So people always say, well, is my case going to, like the first day, is my case going to end up in a lawsuit? I have no idea, right? That's what I always tell people. But we treat it like it could, right? So like we work it a certain way so that if it has to go there, it's ready and you stay with the same attorney. So some firms, you have pre-litigation and then you have litigation attorneys. So we're all litigators.
Okay.
But, and I don't even now remember where I was going with this, but what I was going to say was, the case is worked up a certain way and it might feel really like easy and kind, but like if a lawsuit has to be filed, we know the ground, like we know the rules, we know how to advance it, like past the goalposts, and just because we're nice to the other attorney on the other side or whatever doesn't mean that like they're going to get one over on us. I sometimes think that that's how clients feel. It's like, well, you're being like too nice. And I'm like, no, like I'm being nice enough to accomplish our goal. But at the end of the day, we can take it all the way to trial if need be. Which is a different, how I am at the beginning of a case might not be how I appear in a courtroom in front of a jury of people that are expecting a certain presentation of the case.
Yeah, you play a role.
But it's so funny. We go to the CLE every year. Well, CLE is continuing education. You guys do the same thing. Right?
We just did.
Yeah. And it's at the courthouse. So you might get called. They call jurors in. And in Delaware, we don't get to talk to jurors. So if you serve jury duty and the case goes to trial and you make a decision, the attorneys don't get to like debrief with the jurors. So we don't know why you decided, how you decided, or what made a difference in your deliberations. But they do this continuing education thing where we get to watch how they deliberate and hear what they talk about. And it's so funny. They'll be like, well, I didn't like what she was wearing. And it's like, why does that matter? Well, it does.
Yes.
Yeah. Or like, I
Yes.
didn't like that attorney's tone. Like this well, I guess tone, we would understand why that makes a difference. Like if you seem snippy or whatever.
Yeah.
But things that really aren't important in the case make a difference at the end of the day. So we try to make sure that we're checking all the boxes, I guess is my point.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
As young women, I think that there's an expectation that we not be aggressive. We're not really, we need to speak a little softer. We need to smile a little bit more. And I mean, that's okay with me, but it's always in the
Or
back.
it's held against you.
It's held against
one or the other.
It's held,
right?
yeah, it's always,
win.
yeah.
Yeah, because if you're not, then you're, what you are.
I always feel like I have to make a conscious effort to tone it down. Like I need to relax. I'm supposed to not be as aggressive as my counterparts, but it is what it is.
So I'm a very direct person.
Me too.
And I don't like to sugarcoat things. And I've been doing reels on my personal page trying to educate the agents in our industry because, again, I get very frustrated with the industry. And I feel like I'm offending a lot of people because I am so direct. But it's like I even tried to make a reel saying, like, I know I'm offending some people, and I couldn't even do it without laughing because that's who I am.
Just keep scrolling then if you don't like it, right?
Content, just move along.
Yep.
And I told her, I'm like, your people are going to find you and be like, that's my person, because you know what you're talking about. And you're not trying to offend people. You're just trying to educate people.
Yeah.
It's just.
Educate people directly, but also with an edge of frustration that has been going on for 16 years. So
it's needed.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's a long time, 16
So are you
years.
targeting other realtors
Yes,
or
I am trying. This is new. So we run the team and we educate the agents on the team to a high level. But the problem is we're constantly going up against people that don't know how to do real estate.
Okay.
So I am putting this.
That's
content out, and
frustrating.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be received, but we'll see.
Yeah. So like you guys have to go to school for years and we have to go to school for 99 hours.
Yes. So it's very easy
wow.
to get into real estate, and then the brokerages launch these agents and they don't actually teach them the ins and outs and the nuances. And so when she's saying the frustration is the wild, wild west, it's truly the wild, wild west. And there is no real accountability. Unfortunately, we have a commission, we have the board of realtors, but
I was
it
gonna
is
say,
very
That's scary.
yeah, like in our arena.
It's
How
so
are
scary.
you it's a big deal buying and selling a house.
It totally is.
I'm
And when you
shocked right
go
now.
to your 99-hour course, you are taught about fair housing. You're taught about how many miles is in an acre. You're just like, you are not taught really, truly like the depths of the contract and the processes. And it's just, they're like, here's your license and here you go. And you're like, hey, do you want to buy a house? I can help you. I'm a realtor. And they're like, oh, great. I've been looking for a realtor. Sign here. There you go. And it's like, this is one of the biggest transactions of your life. You're putting a large deposit down. If you don't follow the contract correctly, you are going to
potentially lose that
you're
money.
going to lose that money. And, we come across all the time where people are like, well, I'm having a bad experience, but it's my brother's brother, it's my brother-in-law, it's my cousin. It's like, well, what happens when the relationship soured because they lost $10,000 of your money,
Right.
or they got you into this house and didn't educate you about polybutylene plumbing and aluminum wiring and all of these things that like are really big issues that you should be looking at in this house. And it's like, I had a conversation at the ball field with another mom and her friends like in tears because of certain situations. And I'm like trying to educate her to like, well, tell her this. And it's just, yeah,
we get that a lot with people, the age-old thing. I have a client, I represent them for work accident. Okay, they ride off into the sunset, everything's fine. And then like a year later, they come back and they're like, oh, I need a will. And I'm like, oh, I don't do that. And they're like, well, you're a lawyer, right? And I'm like, yeah, but stay in your own lane. Like we do a certain type of law and we're great at that. And I had a different lawyer write my will. Like I didn't even write my own will, which you really can't do. But I always tell people, I'm like, you don't want, like, I always say, you don't want like a heart or a hand, like a foot doctor doing a heart surgery, right? Like we stay in our own lane. There's certain things that like we can give advice on, but we don't, right? If we don't know the best if you're not keeping up with it, which I imagine is a lot like real estate,
Yeah.
then how do you know you're getting the best advice? And we only want to give the best advice to people. At least in our cases, we have like a judge overseeing them, so
Right.
you don't. It's not as much of the wild west stuff.
And
happens.
malpractice, right? Like we can be sued for malpractice. So I'm
Yeah,
staying
do you
far
guys have
away.
that
Do you guys
kind of-
have that?
So we have errors and omissions insurance,
Okay.
and I feel like, and we have to carry that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that protects people, but I think it's just really difficult for people to go after agents and people to go after other sellers who maybe hid things. Like it's just complicated. It's very complicated.
Yeah.
And they're
So, yeah.
also making that decision to work with that agent. And we've seen people that they're like, well, we're locked in with this agent. And I'm like, you're not.
You're not.
Like you can, like if you're not having a good experience
Right.
and you're not being educated, you need to go interview other agents. That's what it is. It's an interview. You're hiring them.
Honestly, I think it comes down to people just want that instant. I saw it on Zillow. Let me click the button.
Don't
to
click
go
on
and
Zillow.
see
Please
the
stop
house.
clicking on Zillow.
And unfortunately, you get whatever you get. And now we legally have to have a buyer agency agreement to show the property. So now you've signed a buyer agency agreement and then you have to cancel that buyer agency agreement. And people just think, all right, well, I'm working with them now. And
Yeah,
you
they-
get
Wait,
you
what
get.
button? I'm not
Like on
familiar.
the
button.
ad, like if you
I want to
Schedule
tour
a
the
tour.
house. Yeah.
I want to see the
Oh,
house.
okay.
Yeah.
Then you have to sign an agreement with them, which there are agents that aren't even getting those agreements signed, which they
Shame on
can.
them.
yeah.
Put that on your reel, right?
We could
be a lot on
go
this.
off on this, but people just and when you're talking about suing agents, like well, you're signing these documents, you're making this decision to work with this person. Like it was your decision.
Yeah.
Understood.
It's a shame.
I know.
So,
Look, with four lawyers in the room, signing documents is a big deal.
Yes.
Let me
Huge
just say to
deal.
the people out there, huge deal. If you sign something, this is like out of the textbook in Delaware, but like you're charged with the fact that you read that document and understood what it said. And if you don't, you should talk to a lawyer.
Even if it's not in your native language. So if you primarily speak Spanish and you're signing an English document, you're still
Yeah,
held
the
to-
expectation is that
Really?
you read it
Okay.
and you
Understood
understood
it.
Yeah. So there's like if you sign that Zillow thing, even if you don't know what you signed, and look, I do it every day. I check the box. I've read this and on with my life I
We
go.
all do, right? Terms and conditions.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
Great. You want
what
my
was that?
firstborn? Sure. But we see it with people in car accidents, right? I was in a car accident. X insurance company asked me to sign this document. I signed it. They sent me a check for $5,000. What happens now? And I'm like, nothing happens because you released them. You took that $5,000 and you're done. You're moving off. And they're like, well, I didn't know that's what it said. And I'm like, there's literally nothing we can do. I mean, sometimes there's stuff we can do. But to your point, like, I think with the ease of technology and social media, signing things has become so routine.
It's a
and
click.
mundane. Yeah. Linda, and I cut you off. I didn't mean to, but
you were talking about the ability to, say no to a realtor and, switch. Is it a red flag for you if someone comes and they're like, oh, you're my third or fourth realtor at this point? Do you decline them or is it a red
That
flag?
is a red flag. And I want to have a conversation. Like I would be like that is very interesting. Yeah. And I'm like very matter of fact. I'm like, we're gonna need to have a conversation here. Why?
Yeah.
Why have you had 4 realtors?
Yeah.
Like, is it truly you've had 4 bad realtors or are you the problem?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
And to be fair, for our industry, there are some amazing
Oh my gosh,
agents
amazing
in our
agents, yeah.
county, like that we love to work with. But unfortunately, there's just as many bad ones. So it's just a matter, like for the consumer, do your research.
Right.
Yeah.
But yes, we would at that point have a very detailed conversation about what happened.
It's the same in our industry. That's why I was curious.
yeah.
Yeah. And I always pose it as like, let's have a meeting and see if we're a good fit.
Yeah.
Because I might say that we're not a good fit, if your expectations are unrealistic.
Yeah, it goes both ways, right?
Or like I've met with a seller before. I left the house and I was like, she was so rude, not to me, but the way she spoke about other people. And I would call Kristen and I was like, I cannot work with this woman. I don't care if she was paying me whatever, like an astronomical amount. Like I just cannot work with somebody like her. And I called her and I was like, I think you would be a better fit for someone else and I'd be happy to refer you. And she was like, why not? Why not? And I'm like, just don't think we're a good fit.
Then you
I
knew
don't
you
know.
made the right call,
I don't know
right?
about yourself, but it took me like confidence and time to get to that point where I was like okay with saying that.
Yeah,
Yes,
it does. It
exactly.
does, especially in real estate because you're not getting paid. And
Same, we work on commission.
I was going to say, like, I don't know how you guys get paid, but it's like, unless we get to the closing table and those documents are signed, you don't get paid. Really?
Same.
That
Yeah.
is
So that's not,
insane.
that
We
is
work
very,
years for free.
Yeah, that
for what we do.
Yeah, it's
Personal
unique to
injuries.
personal injury. Yeah.
So basically,
we don't bill
every
time.
Other attorney does a billable hour. You're getting 5 minutes on the phone with your attorney. You're getting a bill, right? So with personal injury work, we work off a contingency, which means until we recover for our clients, we have a fee agreement that says our fee is a portion of whatever we recover.
Okay. Yep.
So it's an end game thing, which means it could be 3-4 years down the road before we get paid.
We all need to have dinner.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yes.
we could go on, and it's just so interesting to hear about like just all the things, like the jury, like watching the jurors, and listening to what they say. Like, tell us the other behind the scenes, like
Those are fun. I like those CLEs to watch.
yeah. I
like
don't know.
what else do like people not know about attorneys?
Well, I think in our line of work, it shouldn't baffle me, but so many people don't know how insurance works, and it's
like
like
your car insurance.
your
You know
car
what
I feel like I don't either.
we need to have dinner so I can look at your insurance documents.
Please
bring your
do.
declarations of coverage page.
We're starting a group chat. Like
Yes.
this is
Yes, I
okay.
tell all my friends I'll go on tangents about this is the insurance company you need to use. This is the limits you need to have. Because, okay, think about it like this. I mean, maybe Emily or Jen might be able to give like a solid example on how like your insurance will affect your recovery. So like if you're struck by another vehicle that doesn't have insurance, then your insurance picks up. And so,
if you have the right type of coverage.
right.
Yeah.
But you can't control how other people drive, but you can control how well you're insured. And people aren't educated about it. So you should always look at your policy and make sure that you've got coverage that protects you in the event that someone else is underinsured.
And that point frustrates people to no end. They're like, well, why do I have to pay? And I'm like, you don't. But the reality is, if you don't pay to protect yourself, and you're injured by somebody who doesn't have insurance, then you're left holding the bag, you know? And I did it the other day. It's funny because I tell my clients this all the time, but I got my yearly insurance bill in the mail and I'm like, crap, why did my insurance go up? But it just goes up. That's just the nature of the beast. Every year life becomes more expensive in every aspect.
Yeah.
And so I called my insurance agent and I was like, can you price shop? He's a broker. And I'm like, price shop this for me. See if you can find better coverage at a better premium or the same coverage at a better premium. And he's like, all right, I'll get back to you. But what most people do is they say, I just want the best premium. I want to pay X dollars a month. And what happens is you get to an agent who wants to sell you a policy of insurance and they give you that policy at the amount you want, but they've cut things out of it basically to get you there, right? Because more insurance is more money. But it's one of those things like you plan for the unexpected. Nobody wants to use it and you go your whole life spending insurance and knock on wood, nobody has to use it. But, in Delaware, the limits they're better than a lot of states, but they're low. And we've probably, unfortunately, all seen what a ER visit can cost, right? Yeah. And so having the right insurance is a big game changer for what we can do for you, basically. And that's kind of probably trickles over into what you do, but we can only do so much with what we have to work with. So I've had unfortunate clients who have had catastrophic injuries and there's not enough car insurance. And then it's like, well, let's just sue the person who caused the accident. Okay, great, we can, but how do you get money from somebody who didn't have the right insurance to begin with and doesn't have assets? And, at the end of the day, you don't want to drag somebody through a really long litigation process and recover nothing for them. So
this is like,
So
I'm just like, this is the stuff they need to teach in school.
Yes.
Credit, insurance,
Yeah.
how to buy a house, taxes, like all of, like, why are we not teaching this stuff in school?
Right. Yeah. Like there's so many people like, oh, I have car insurance. Yeah, but what kind, right? So and I'm not going to get into it, but there's like PIP and there's liability and there's UIM and all of those different types do different things. And I didn't know. Well, my mom was a car insurer or was an auto agent, so she always made me have really good insurance. And I always said, Mom, it's so expensive. And now I know why she did that. But unless you have somebody who's in the know already, like you don't know what you don't know.
But I think it's important too because like I am a part of like a mom group, so there's me and 4 other moms. Hi guys. So the question started in our group chat recently where what are you paying for your insurance? And the first thought that goes in my head, you can't just ask someone what they're paying for their insurance because you're paying for a different product. So it depends on what insurance company you're using, and some insurance companies are better than the other. And then it depends on what you're getting for your premium. So you can't compare apples to oranges.
This all relates to real estate too. I'm thinking about people with like interest rates and what do you pay for your mortgage? And well, this lender gave me this rate and this lender gave me this rate. And I'm like, well, did you look at the fine print? Because they're charging you $6,000 in points to give you this rate.
I don't even know
They
what that means.
I
don't know, yeah.
See? And like, they're just like, it's a better rate. And I'm like, whoa, slow it down. We got to look at the fine print. This is,
I had all my girlfriends send me their deck
different
pages.
types of vehicles and different drivers' ages.
Yeah.
It's like
A lot goes into it.
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So if I buy you dinner, will you look at
You don't even need to buy me dinner.
Amanda's excited to do it.
I'm so.
I love your excitement about this.
Amanda is what would we, she's like our warrior. Like she will fight for you no matter what.
was
Like
the-
she doesn't. Is she gonna get paid? Who knows? She's still gonna fight for you.
I'm like easily excitable, and I'm just like,
I know.
I
I'll
have
get a
to
new
reel it
client
in
call.
sometimes.
I'll
That's
get a
how I
call
am
and
too.
I'll
I'm
be
like, I want justice. You need
That's Amanda. I'll get a call and I'll be like, I don't know if I can get into this. And I'm like, but this person needs someone, Amanda.
Help them out.
yeah, I got you guys. I got you.
That's like me. They always made fun of me because they're like, you like go like talk about going above and beyond for your clients. Like you go way above.
We need boundaries, though. Wait, is that her? Or,
Yes, no, she does not set boundaries. We one time, okay, just to give you context.
What are boundaries?
Just to give a
He's laughing
background
over there.
story. Amber used to go and get moving boxes, and she would.
I still
drive-
do sometimes.
She would drive ridiculous amounts of miles to go and drop off moving boxes, and we were like, okay, no, that is not.
I don't really
your
have time
job.
for that now.
She
but-
does not have time. I'm like, you sell.
Oh, don't. They're already thinking of stories of me. I don't even.
I can't even. I think there's so many stories, but the most recent, Amanda was gonna. Somebody's dog ended up in like foster, and she was gonna go like adopt the dog from that. And I'm like,
downstate.
you cannot go get this dog. The dog ended up fine.
But-
The dog had a good happy ending at the end.
It was
So, oh my
sad.
God.
Listen. I have 4 dogs and a jumping spider, and when this client, this client tells me that because she was on the 3rd floor of her apartment and she like crushed her ankle and she couldn't let her dogs out anymore, so the dog had to be released, and it was extremely sad. But I would say the most recent one was I had a
there's
hearing.
something better than
There's something a little bit more interesting. I don't know, but we had a hearing and she didn't have any clothes to wear, so I'm like calling all my friends, and we got a whole stack of clothes for her, and she looked so good at her hearing, and we killed it, you guys. We killed it.
God.
Yeah,
See,
so-
but this is
So
like,
are we
I'm like,
twin
yes,
souls? Yeah.
100%. I'll tell you another story after this, but you guys are gonna die. Yeah.
So we'll get that
I
dinner
don't know.
scheduled.
We hear it all. Like
We
some
do.
Crazy. I mean, you guys probably hear it all too, but we are like our clients' therapists in some way. We're
Yes.
not therapists, obviously.
Or it's like, you're my attorney, right? This is privilege. I'm like, yeah, my
Yes.
God.
Yes. What do you
How
got?
juicy we get.
I know. People are like word vomit and they're like, I don't know why I'm telling you this. And this is confidential, right? Because then it's Delaware, right? So they're like, oh, you know so-and-so? I know so-and-so. And they're like, oh my God, don't tell anybody. And I'm like, listen, this is completely confidential.
I didn't know that there is a level of confidentiality.
Well,
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it
Fiduciary
is.
confidentiality. We can't
Absolutely.
show any of that information.
Wow.
Even
We have
after it
very
closes.
similar careers.
Even after it closes.
Really? It's like, yeah, that's how it is for us too. It's forever.
But even stuff that has nothing to do with the house sale, like just gossip.
No, it's mainly about the house.
Yeah, but also it depends on like their situation. Like we can't say like they're divorcing and like they absolutely need to like sell this house. They're desperate. You know what I mean? Like that's personal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can't say it after closing either. It goes to the grave.
Yeah.
Same.
It's just so hard, right? Yeah. I know. I mean, we do it obviously every day.
I have friends that are nurses and like, I shouldn't tell you this. But, and it's like, they don't tell me who it is. They're just like, you know, this, and I'm like, wow. Yeah.
You like you deep dive to see if you can figure it out on your own.
Yeah, the other day something came up in a deposition, and I couldn't wait to get back to the office to tell them because they can't tell anyone else.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The privilege extends in our office.
Yeah.
So.
Firm, yeah.
Okay.
Firm.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is great.
This is great, but I am pivoting to keep us on track because I want to talk about Squire. How did we start this? Like, give us the background.
So I started like a personal, professional page on Instagram during COVID because we were going to, Emily and I was joking, we were going to the office every day still. The office was closed, but the attorneys were going in like in sweatpants, right? Just because that's like where we were trying to still accomplish things. And anyway, I started my personal professional page, and then that died. Once life picked back up again, I just fell off. And then I had said to our marketing team, we should do this, but I wasn't doing enough content with just one of us. So I was like, let's get all the girls involved. And I don't know if it was originally She Squire. I think we were doing it for a while, and then we tried to make a name of it. I don't know. But the She Squire was just a play on the fact that it's, all four of us. And truly, we're friends before we started it. So it was intended to be informational, and then it became funny. I mean, the Instagram and the TikToks, they're just like humorous. And that's what I lose, I don't know how many hours a day.
Right.
Like just scrolling. And so we made it more lighthearted, and it's just really taken off. I think it's kind of just a breath of fresh air for like a lot of people in our industry. I mean, what we deal with every day is pretty crappy. I mean, it's people in car accidents and work accidents and hurt and die and, all these crazy things. So it's just like a nice tie to the legal world and still being funny, but relatable. Like anybody that works at a law firm would get some of the things that we do. And maybe even not at a law firm, because it sounds like it's getting traction. Like, with you guys. So. Yeah.
Shout out really quick to Deb and Alyssa, our marketing. We love you.
Yeah. So one of our marketing girls, she's very young. She's like early 20s, if that, right? Yeah, she's early, fresh out of college. But she was like, okay, so you guys have to share this on TikTok. We're like, we don't have TikTok. I can do it on Facebook, which apparently is not the super cool thing anymore.
Yeah. We don't look at our TikTok page that much. And then we go there and we're like, oh, wow, this one like really hit. And then it'll have all these comments or like YouTube. We went to YouTube one time in this video. They ripped us. And we were like,
this is the mark.
Kristen like texted me and she was like, do you believe this? Oh my God. And she's like, I'm deleting it as soon as I get back.
It feels so cringeworthy. I mean, you guys seem really natural, but when we're doing it, I'm like, God, this is so cringeworthy. But I think that's kind of what makes it funny too. Like my family see it and they're like, you were laying on your desk? And I'm like, I know, look, the marketing girl asked me to do it. It's fine, whatever. But
Well, it's funny, the ones that take off versus the ones that don't, like, there's no rhyme or reason half the time.
No. Mm-mm. And on different platforms. So it's like, this one on Instagram is like, we got like 1 like, and this one on TikTok's like 500 likes and all these comments. And it's like, that kind of goes back to like where your audience is. But like, same with you guys, it's like, our business is very serious and, it's stressful. And so to be able to do this is kind of cool. It's like, we keep saying lately, we're literally just girls. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like fun to like do this with the people that you enjoy as well. It's like something lighthearted. And it also like shows people your personality, right? It's like, yes, like realtors are serious in serious situations and so are attorneys, but like, we're just people having, we're like trying to have fun and
Somebody did say that, I don't know who it was, but they were like, maybe you're making it like too light, like people aren't going to take you serious. And I'm like, maybe people take each other too seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, anyone who's worked a case with me knows that I know like the law and I know what I'm doing. Yep. Like if they see my Instagram, they're not going to be like, oh, she doesn't know what she's doing because she's making light.
Because she's having fun.
Yeah. So I try to take it with a grain of salt, some opinion. Everyone's always going to have an opinion, right?
Well, and you can get in your own head too. Like one of the agents on the team was like, I don't know if I want to do like the trending reels anymore. Like maybe like I don't know if she said like she was worried about people not taking her serious or whatever it was. But I'm like, listen, like I'm going to keep doing it because also like we want to show up for people and like them to see us so that they can it reminds them of us. Yeah. Like because we rely on that for our business. And I'm like, listen, you know how many people like inbox me other reels and like, you should do this. Yeah. And then we put it on our list and we're like, we're going to do it. Like, that's hilarious.
I mean, just like the real estate market, the legal world is very saturated. So, I mean, there's so many, I don't know how many lawyers there are. Now, what we do is different, obviously, but most people don't know. Like, my own family members, sometimes I'm like, do you know what I do every day, But at least it gets them to you, right? Yes. Like, and hopefully gets them to you in a way that they're, like, not weirded out about calling you. I think it makes you more approachable.
It does.
Like, they know that we're, like, regular people. Mm-hmm. I just on Friday had a phone call with another attorney and he called and he's like, oh, can I talk to Jen Donnelly? And I'm like, this is Jen Donnelly. He's like, oh, you answer your own phone? And I'm like, Yeah.
Yes.
Like, who did you think was going to answer? And he's like, I just thought I'd get like your assistant or paralegal first. And I'm like, no, I'm going to answer my phone if you call my number.
And that's another huge difference, I think, between our firm and other personal injury firms. So I will talk all day.
Any
about,
law firm,
right?
really.
Like there's 12 of us, so we all have very manageable caseloads. So if someone comes to me, I had someone recently, say, oh, I saw you on social media, and that's so exciting, right?
Right? You're like, did you?
I'm like, yeah.
Did you like it?
Did you like it? But they also said, well, how I'm going to be direct with you, man. I'm like, okay, cool, love that. So what? And she's like, well, how do I pick you over another firm that I also hear good things about? And I'm like, well, listen, I truly believe the difference between us and the next firm is that we all pick up our phones when the clients call. They have direct access to us. We get back to them within 24 hours. And that's, it ties into the culture, the family firm that we want to be. Just another plug for Kimmel Carter. I'm not biased or anything.
You should be. It sounds fantastic.
Thank you. And I will say, we do get a lot of comments from women in like Pennsylvania, Maryland, like our age. They're like, I wish I worked at a firm that had that. That you had that connection. I wish I worked with other ladies, my age.
I read an article for like a journal, like a lawyer's journal in Pennsylvania. And I actually had somebody email me. This was last year. And she was like, I wish I felt that way at my firm. And I'm like, well, maybe you're at the wrong firm, right? Like, kinda, and that's hard. Look, you're in your comfort zone. You have a good job. It's hard to like recognize like maybe this isn't for me, especially when you've been there for a certain amount of years. But when you're going to I spend more time with these 4 girls than I do my own kids. Some days I'm like, I feel blessed that I can say like, I like where I work, but I'm also like, you're not a tree. Like, you're smart. You're intelligent.
Amen.
You have a lot to offer. Go somewhere else and feel appreciated for what you do.
Right. Or build that culture at your firm, right? Like build that flexibility.
Yeah. Advocate for yourself.
Right.
I mean, it's easy for us to do that because we're used to advocating for people, but it's so interesting to see how people aren't willing to advocate for themselves. I'm like, you know what you want? Say it out loud. Say it louder.
Absolutely. Listen, don't even get me started because like I am all about that. Like, we are literally just girls, right? And like we have taken many years to build our confidence and do things to better ourselves. And one of my favorite things is empowering other people, whether it's women or men. I literally just had a conversation the other day with a girl that I met, and has this appointment, and she's like, I don't know, I get in my head, and I'm like, listen here, and I'm like,
yes.
Blah, blah. I'm like, you have something to offer, you are valuable, and and she's like, all right, I'm ready. Like I should have talked to you before my other appointments, like, but absolutely, we have to lift each other up.
Yeah. And you said something about how you're very direct and like sometimes that's not, but I love that. I'm like, look, we're all busy. Time is money, and like in a positive way, right? Like not necessarily like monetary money, but just like where you spend your time. And I'm all about like directness, and I'm going to tell you how it is. We were just talking the other day about how like I'm your attorney and I am happy that we have a great relationship, but I'm not your friend. Like sometimes you're going to hear things from me that you're not going to like, but it's to move forward the goal that we're working towards or whatever. And if you want to have drinks after this and talk about the weather, that's fine. But like, let's focus now, So, as far as being like advocating for yourself, I'm always like, when I get a client on the phone and they're just like rambling and I'm like, okay, let's back up. What do you want? Right? Like, what is your goal here? And then you figure it out. Like your goal, like you said earlier, we have 2 different end games on this and it's not going to work out. Sometimes people lose the forest for the trees. You know how that goes. Dying on the hill of something they shouldn't really care about.
And I'll flat out say, look, I understand that that's important, but it's not important to this case.
Yeah.
So that's not,
I like
that's,
that.
That's not relevant. That's not what we should be looking at. And here's why. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't see it that way. But I also have clients who, we talked about AI a little bit earlier. I have a love-hate relationship. So I do think it's allowing people to empower themselves. I had a potential client recently contact me the other day and they said, she said, I asked for the agreement from the adjuster and the adjuster wouldn't give it to me. And that sent off a red flag. And I'm like, no clients usually know what an agreement is. Like that's your golden ticket to your workers' comp case. So like, how did you know about it? And she's like, well, I did a lot of research. I used ChatGPT. I'm like, well, great. So if you are going to educate yourself, do your research, and then, speak to an attorney, I think that that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Listen
Use
to
it as
your
a tool.
attorney.
Exactly.
Right.
That's
So listen to your attorney if they tell you
Use
why
it as a
ChatGPT.
tool.
Yes,
And then
yes.
double check with a professional.
Yes.
that's exactly what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys have a lot of AI stuff in your arena or?
Absolutely.
Oh my
Also
gosh.
use it all the time because I don't have the time to write captions. So like captions written by AI.
Yeah.
And I yell at AI a lot. Caroline.
Oh my
not
God,
here
she's
today.
always yelling. She's like, I told you not to do that. You need to.
Why are you making me repeat myself?
Did you name your AI? Is that what
You named him Chad.
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 Yeah.
I don't think you
feels like
male
a
name
Chad.
out of all the girls.
Well, because
You can yell at him.
Okay.
well, literally because I was listening to a podcast and it was with Miranda Lambert.
Oh, love
and
her.
Same girl. And her brother is like in tech. And so her brother calls ChatGPT Chad.
Okay.
So I refer to him as Chad, even though mine has a girl voice. Whatever they want to be. So yeah, I'm like Chad, and then people are like, who?
Yeah.
Who said what? And I'm like, oh, ChatGPT.
Mine is Soul because she brings light and sun into my world.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I use ChatGPT for everything.
You do love it.
I love chat and
Work smarter,
so-
not harder,
Yes,
right?
but even
Yeah.
like simple things like, I mean, I'm all about therapy. I love therapy. I have a therapist. I love her. But ChatGPT like kind of helped get me through the loss of my nephew last year. So I just think that you can just use it in a wonderful variety of
I've
ways.
used it in like situations with my daughter where like she had an interaction with a girl at school and like, how should I handle this? And like, it really helped.
I use it to help me teach my daughter how to do math because I swear it is getting harder. I'm like, how do you explain this to a 10-year-old who's doing math differently than how I did math?
And you learned.
It
Yeah.
actually helps, guys. If you ever get stuck,
Yeah.
I feel grateful to live in this age. Like I feel like I was born just in the right decade to have like maps and GPS and AI.
Yeah.
I'd be lost if we didn't have GPS.
It's a blessing and a curse, but
Lucky
I
I
think
got
it's a
here.
blessing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I have to settle this because we have been running over time, but this has been a great conversation.
I'm sad to end this.
I know. But thank you so much for watching this episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Sounds great.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of That Delaware Podcast. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at That Delaware Podcast and our team page at RosaioTeam_real estate. And of course, if you have any real estate or Delaware questions, feel free to reach out.